So, what happened here? Well, he was found dead on the floor with a club right next to him. That's all the information we were able to gather so far. Well, let's start looking around for clues. Hi, I'm AntonioDH, and I'm dead. I can't believe it. 1 minute I'm alive, the next minute I'm face forward on the ground, dead. Now, how did I get like this? I don't know. I don't remember a single thing about dying. So I'm gonna have to follow the sheriff and the detective to see how I died and by who. Actually, speaking of murder mysteries, do you remember when a certain company killed off their beloved mascot? Sonic the Hedgehog. You know him, you love him, and his games. For the most part. Throughout the years, Sonic has had his ups and downs, and ups again, and downs, and even more downs. And in 2023, after Sonic was on a high from Sonic Frontiers, it was time for Sega to kill him off again, literally. The murder of Sonic the Hedgehog was released on March 31st, 2023 as Sega's April Fool's prank, and for the low price of free. Production started on the game in 2022 when the manager of Sonic's social media, Katie, gathered a team and pitched the idea to Sega. The original game was going to be if Tails died. I'm honestly glad that they went with Sonic. Now, let's see how they did this, shall we? The story starts with us meeting our little character, which we can name whatever we want. Today is his first day, and he's nervous about it. Once we name him, we meet the conductor, and he tells us that today's his last day and is retiring. He tells us about the event going on in the train, a murder mystery, which is being held by Amy Rose for her birthday. Joining her are Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Shadow, Rouge, Blaze, Vector, and Espio. Once everyone has been given their roles and locations, the game has begun. The train starts moving, but something's wrong. The train is moving faster and faster. Too fast. You, Tails, and Amy get knocked into the dining car's closet, and a bookshelf has fallen in front of the door. You're trapped in there. Tails tells Amy to smash it with her Pico Pico hammer, but she gets nervous and tells them to find another way out. Tails catches on and asks us to help look for clues on why Amy is acting so strange. As you probably noticed, the genre of this game is a point-and-click visual novel. You use your mouse to click on objects around the room. Some objects are just there to have a fun interaction with Tails and other characters. Others are used as clues and evidence. For those ones, they are added into your inventory for later. We can also talk to whoever is in the room for a small interaction. After searching the room for a little bit, it's time to approach and interrogate Amy. You and Tails work together with the objects in the inventory to prove to Amy that we know she attempted to escape. But she's not buying it, so we have to think. That's where the Dream Gear comes in. In the Dream Gear segment, you play as Sonic in a runner game. You have to collect a certain amount of rings before you get to the end, and is used constantly throughout the game. I like this component about the game, but my only complaint is that since the camera is at an angle, I can mess up the timing of jumps. It's the only time you play as Sonic. After showing more evidence and thinking some more, you discover that Amy's hammer broke when she tried to break the shelf. After Tails fixes the hammer, the shelf is destroyed. You all escape and head to the dining room, where you find Sonic dead. He was murdered. As Tails and Amy leave, you notice something's off. Sonic isn't moving. He's mumbling, and you can't feel his pulse. You can't tell if this is part of the game or not. You catch up with Tails and Amy to get to the bottom of this, and the search begins. Who murdered Sonic the Hedgehog? So, do we know who found him? Well, we got a call from an anonymous person who wasn't on the line for long, nor was here whenever we showed up.
Hello, someone's been murdered. Please rush over here as fast as you can.
Sounds suspicious. What other evidence have we found so far? Well, the only thing that we seemed to find was the club on the floor. But there is a security cam with the recording of the murder. Okay, well, we should watch the recording to see if we can find any more clues. We catch up with Tails and he tells us Amy went ahead. So it's up to us to figure out the murderer. We go from cart to cart, finding evidence and interrogating each guest to try and find out who the murderer is. Once we've collected all the evidence we need, we call everyone to the conductor's room. And there, everyone finds out that Sonic was hurt badly. So now it's time to figure out who murdered Sonic. I won't spoil who murdered him because I had a fun time trying to figure it out, and I don't want to ruin the fun for you guys. But after figuring it out, Sonic wakes up and tells us that the train attacked him and took the conductor. The train is actually one of Eggman's badniks and was controlled by a Flicky. The train was programmed to send Sonic and his friends to Eggman in exchange for a wish, which the train was going to use to make the conductor and it stay together forever and never have him leave. The train traps all the guests and you inside, but with the help of Sonic, you escape the train and destroy it, using the same gameplay as the Dream Gear, saving you, all the guests, the conductor, and the Flicky. And you end the birthday with some cake. We were able to collect the recording, so let's see what happens. Looks like the murderer is a few steps ahead of us. He doesn't want to be seen or known. But rewind it. What's that in his hand? Looks like some diamond or crystal. Maybe an emerald? Did you find it around the crime scene? No, there was nothing like that around. So the murderer wanted to make sure Antonio was dead for some unknown reason, take the emerald thingy, and cover his tracks. Is there any leads or anyone that has close ties to Antonio? Well, there is one. As mentioned before, I really love the style of this game. The point-and-click visual novel gameplay works so well with the type of game this is. I liked how there were breaks from that style with the Game Gear, adding a little bit of spice. These segments made the game feel closer to a Sonic game without distracting from the main gameplay. Because of it being a visual novel, the writers were able to show a lot of personality in each character that hasn't really been in present Sonic games other than Frontiers at the time. In general, I loved all the jokes and the writing was amazing. Each joke worked so well and got me to laugh out loud a few times. One of my favorite jokes was when your character had to make a decision about the Fabergé Chow egg exploding. There are so many options that each have their own outcome, which makes everyone panic and is funny. I also like the subtle references, both in the writing and the visuals of the game. Like Knuckles wearing his iconic hat from the Sonic OVA, or the conductor mentioning going to Spagonia after retiring. I have a soft spot for little references here and there. Just getting the references for being a fan and knowing what happened in the past makes me happy. Where were you earlier today?
We were going to hang out, you have to trust me. Antonio never showed up. He wasn't responding to any of my calls or texts.
Okay. Thank you for your input, but are you sure you don't know any other information?
I'm sure if I find out anything, I'll let you guys know.
Okay, thank you. Well, that was a bust. That was our only lead. I don't know what to do. We searched the club for prints, but there was none whatsoever. Like a ghost murdered him. I hate to do this, but we're gonna have to close the case. Well, you hate to see it. Whoever the murderer is too good. Okay, people, let's wrap this up. I love the art style of the game. The hand-drawn models of the characters are amazing. I love the outfits of each of them, matching up with their roles perfectly. My favorites are either Knuckles in a cowboy outfit, Tails in a detective suit, or Shadow in a cute hat and apron. I also love how the different locations of the carts look. Each cart is so distinct and none of them look the same. What adds to each room being distinct is the music, each having their own song. The music is good, different from the other songs in the Sonic series, but the music fits the type of game it is. At the beginning, it's happy and cheery, but once everything goes wrong and the murder mystery begins, the music starts to get more mysterious, sometimes eerie. Other Sonic soundtracks are higher on the list for me personally, but I still really like the music in the game. But with that, The Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog is an amazing game. A fun twist for the blue blur, and probably one of my favorite Sonic games. It's so unique. It reminds me a lot of Clue, mainly the movie and the play. I would highly recommend playing the game if you can, and find out who the murderer is. So, turns out I'm actually not supposed to be dead yet, which is a good thing, because I don't like it here. It's too lonely and echoey in here, and I have a long life to live. So, I'm just gonna wake up and hopefully not remember any of this. So, I'll see ya. I'm not gonna miss this. He's waking up! Son, are you okay? Yeah. You remember anything that happened to you? No, I don't remember what happened. Last thing I do remember is looking at a Chaos Emerald that I found, and then Wait. Where'd it go? It was nowhere to be found. I'm sorry, son. The murderer must have taken it. No. This is bad. Really bad. Can I report a stolen item? Yes. Can you describe it? So, it's about this small, right? And it's purple, right? So, it's sort of like a diamond, right? So it's sort of...